Hello everyone, Jobexi here, and this is episode 4 of Let's Play Enigma Island. Yeah, cool. Alright, I'm in the middle of a chessboard. I don't know really what I want to do. I have a pawn, but why would I use the pawn? I have a king. I thought I had the solution. I might, but I don't know. I want to move that bishop right in front of this king because he can't take it. Okay, well, I can either move the rook down here or I can move the bishop down here. I want to move the bishop to right there, but that doesn't seem like the right answer. So, what good would the rook do? Okay, so what if I can't put it there. I shouldn't move the rook, right? Like general chess strategy. I shouldn't move the rook right now. Instead, I should move the bishop. And I should move the bishop right here. I'm not an expert at chess, so, if one of you are, feel free to educate me in the comments. But I feel as though I should move the bishop right here. Computer doesn't think that's the right answer. I don't see any benefit to moving it. There's no purpose of moving the pawn. No purpose in moving the rook. Period. I don't see any benefit in moving it. Moving the bishop any other space. There's no benefit to moving the king. No benefit to putting the bishop in the path of the rook. So the only one space that I could see, I guess 2 spaces. I guess I can move the bishop here and force the king there. And then move my rook here, putting him in. No, if I would force the king there. I could, no, would that, no, because that would be checkmate in one move. That'd be stupid. Wait a minute, can I checkmate him in a single move? That's, no, that wouldn't be check, that'd be stalemate, wouldn't it? Because he's not in check and yet he can't move. No, but he can move because he can move there. No, he can't because that's in the, I'm just going to move it. That doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't be in check. I think that would cause a stalemate. How is that the right move? All right. Black's first move, e7 to e6. So my move was h6 to c1. Okay, so now there is a bishop here. And this is like mental chess. I'm really not good at mental chess. e7 to e6. So he moved his pawn from pawn? Well, I guess it was, no, wait. Did he have pieces that I didn't know about? I guess this is e7, yeah, e7 to e6. He moved his pawn forward, so he has pawn, pawn, king. I have c1, bishop, right here. And he has 3 pawns just lined up, ready to go. Is there any good place to put my rook? If there is, I certainly don't see one. One, two, three. Yeah, but that's not a 3-move checkmate. That's like a 4-move checkmate. Why would I want the bishop here? That just seems like a faulty strategy to me. Again, not a chess expert. I haven't played chess probably in the last 4 years. Not an expert. Maybe the last 2. Not an expert. King, pawn, pawn. I have a rook right just there. Why is it so far away? Okay, well, because... Okay. Because his pawns are tied up, he only has one place to move, right? He can, well, not one square, but he only has a certain number of moves on his next turn. If things stay the way they are, which, by the way, they can't, he has to move. He can't move in these squares right there. He can't move here because I'm a bishop. Can't move here because of the king. Can't move there because of a bishop. And he can't move there because of a pawn. So if nothing changes, it's stalemate. I mean, something has to change, but if nothing changes, it's stalemate. So I have to put him in check this turn. But once I put him in check, it's not mate. It's just check. Do I move the king to force him into this square? No. Well, I could do that. I could use the king to force him into this square and then use the rook to put him in check. All right, I'm going to move the king back a space. I don't know if that's the right strategy. That's a weird... I don't think I've ever played that type of move in chess. Then again, I'm not very good at chess. No, I guess that wasn't it. I did do the right ones, right? I did 3 over. I want to move the king backwards. No. Okay, because if I move the king backwards, that opens up this square, right? Oh, okay, that opens up maybe too many options. Maybe I should only move him. Oh, but he can't do, because I'm a bishop and I'm right here, and there's a bishop, and he can't go to either of these two spaces. Can't go to this space. There's a pawn facing this way, so he can't go to this space either. Can't back up because there's a pawn, and he has to move the king because that's the only piece he has left that can move. He can't move it here because there's a rook. Can't move it here because there's a rook, and can't move it here because there's a rook. So if I back the king up, he can move here. Maybe it wants me to back him up to the left or back him up to the right. I understand that Minecraft is not a chess program and it's limited. But no dang. No dang. Okay, so apparently I'm not supposed to move the king. Unless it wants me to move the king to the left, in which case it's a stalemate if I move the king to the left. So that's a bad move. It's a stalemate if I move the king to the right. And I can't move the king forward. If I move it up to the right, it's also a stalemate. So apparently I'm not supposed to move the king for whatever reason. I don't understand it. I don't want to move the rook in front of the bishop because that makes no sense. And I have 2 moves to make a checkmate. How am I supposed to do that? I have a bishop, a pawn, a king, and a rook. If I move the pawn forward, he'll have exactly 1 place that he can move. He'll have to take that choice. He'll have to. Then I can move the rook in place. And that doesn't look like a checkmate to me. Because then I can move the rook over there, into that black space. Well, actually, first, I move the pawn forward. That frees up this square. He has to move his king here. That's the only place he can go. I move the rook rook, right? I move the rook. Do I move the pawn forward again? No, because I have to put checkmate. I move the rook here, putting him in check. He can't go there, there's a pawn. Can't go... He can go there, so I don't see that that's a... Mental chess is really hard. So what am I doing? Moving my pawn forward. What space is that on? Believe it or not, this is still not nearly as frustrating as parkour. What space is that in? It's on a white space, but I guess fourth row from the bottom. Didn't want that either. I can't put him in check from here, and if I don't put him... Well, if I move the... I don't want to move the rook, though. That makes no sense to move the rook. Right now, it's in the perfect position. That's not checkmate either. I guess I'll move the rook down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 space. The pawn will take it. If I move it here, the king will take it. If I move it here, he's not in check. And he still can only move one place. No, he still can't move anywhere. So that's a stalemate. I feel like I have to put him in check, but I can't because I have a bishop here. And he moved his... am I correct in that at least that he moved his pawn forward? Black's first move is e7 to e6. This is e7. He moved it to e6. So he's got pawn, pawn, king. They're both facing this way because that's how pawns work. And I need to checkmate him in 2 moves. He can... Right now, he can only move 0 spaces unless I move this rook. And if I move the rook, he can go to any one of these 3 spaces. If I move the rook, he moves to one of these 3 spaces. If I replace the rook, he moves back. It's not a viable solution to move the rook. Again, I'm not a chess expert, so if one of you has a better view of that strategy, please let me know, because I would like to improve my chess game. Oops, that's the wrong button. That won't do anything. I would like to improve my chess game, but like this strategy just seems exceedingly foolish to me. I could move the rook down 1, but that's a stalemate, so that's no good. No sense moving it there because it'll get taken. If I move it there, it'll get taken. If I move it there, it'll get taken. And there's no sense in moving it, ouch, here either. Could... That was the correct answer? Rook all the way down here in front of the bishop? Why would you constrict the bishop? D8 to D2. Nice. Okay, so now I have a bishop here and stupidly a rook in front of it. Okay, so what did that do? He can't move. He can move. He can move right here because the bishop is in front of it. Oh. Wow. That's actually rather impressive. Okay, see? My chess game is improving already because I put that in front of the bishop. He's required to move right where I'm standing. Then I move my rook onto that black space right there. And he is finished. Checkmate. Wow. How about that? Huh. All right, so the next move for the king is going to be whatever he's at now, which is like something 5, right? E4, E5, E5 to E5 to F5. Or E4 to F4, I was close. I knew what I meant. Yeah, E4 to F4. So he's standing right there. And my rook, which is standing right here, needs to move forward 2 spaces. And then checkmate. Wow. How about that? Now, that was actually a really, really fun puzzle. I've got to say, that was a fun puzzle. I enjoyed that. My strategy, apparently in chess, could stand to be improved. So that's good. I guess I learned a little something out of it as well. That'll be this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the comments.